on this? Jeff, you were absolutely right what you said about Mike. Grace, I don't think there's any words that can truly express how everyone who knows Mike, even on a casual level, can tell you how sad this is, just the loss. But the love that Mike will carry with him wherever he goes now will remain with all of us. There's a story that I tell often that I used to tell just to give Mike a hard time because it's true and it's funny, and it's when he first got into the business, and it's taken on an entirely new meaning since he's passed. The best way I can describe Mike is when I met him in the studio in Top Cow years ago, after David Wohl had brought him in, based off of some truly horrendous samples. And he was in the studio, and he was just, everyone who knew Mike knew immediately that you couldn't help but just like the guy. You didn't know why exactly. He didn't force it on you. It was nothing calculated, it was nothing by design. You just liked the guy immediately. And I said, hey man, no big deal. I don't think he even knew who I was at the time, because like Jeff said, Mike knew nothing about comic books. He just didn't want to wait tables anymore. And I didn't know what to do with the guy. He just came in as a background dude, and I went, okay man, draw me a building. You know, just draw me a building. Go over there in that shitty little table, which is where you're putting you guys in the corner. I think Dave Finch, you had that table for a while. And just, you know, dude, just draw me a building. So Mike had this look in his eyes that I didn't quite recognize, because there was nothing there other than, okay. There was no intimidation, there was no trepidation at all, there was no anxiety, there was no worry that any kind of career hinged on anything that was going to happen after he drew this building. Just went okay. He went away to that shitty little table. But now we're back, comes back, shows me this thing on this sketch pad that can best be described as a loaf of bread stacked vertically with a couple of holes in it, and he called it a building. And at that point, I was like, going to go up to see David Wohl and say, what the hell is he doing in this studio? But Mike was a really likable guy, and you just wanted to have him around. So I was just like, okay, whatever. Dude, cool. Not what we're looking for, but here. I walked over to the bookshelf and I pulled out a picture book of New York City. And I found a building, picture of a building. I said, Mike, draw this building, all right? And go back over there. I've got things that I'm doing over here and working with these people, so go draw this building. He had the same look in his eyes that he did when he drew the loaf of bread. It was still no fear, no anxiety, just, okay. Went away for a couple hours, came back, brought me a sketch pad, and I opened it up, and I was, you know, I was already literally trying to think of like, okay, how am I going to tell this guy to go learn how to drive a truck for a living? And I just remember seeing this beautiful building rendered exactly how it should be, the way an artist would render a building, the way an artist would see the beauty in an object that we all take for granted, that we see every day. And I looked at this thing that was no longer a loaf of bread, and I looked at Mike, and literally nothing had changed. He wasn't suddenly impressed with himself. There was no huge light bulb went off in his head. His feeling towards whatever I was going to tell him about this building was not different than it was when he presented that piece of crap bread. And I just looked at him, and I went, Mike, where the hell did this come from? And to reiterate what was said about Dan and what Jeff said about Mike and comics, he just, no one ever told me to look at a picture before. And I realized that Mike had no idea he knew how to draw. Mike had no idea how talented he was. All he knew was that it was something that sounded interesting to him, and it was like everything he treated in life. What I realized later, what that look in his eyes was, nothing scared him. Nothing scared this guy. His brother and him had this competition that was probably coming out of the womb. Grace, this probably was your fault. I think something you had to do with it, but there was this amazing competition between the two of them that was not based on rivalry. It was based on a love of life and experiencing everything life had to offer. And all Mike really wanted to do, when he showed me that page, and I saw in his eyes there was no fear, he goes, okay, now what? He just wanted to get better. He just wanted to become the best he was, not only as a comic book artist at that moment, when I think he realized that's what he really wanted to do, and he had an act for it, but he just wanted to do the best he possibly could in everything in life. And that lack of fear is what made Mike Turner. And that's what you saw on every page of artwork he ever did. And that's where the beauty came from, is that nothing worried him in his life, because it was all about life and experience. The good stuff, the bad stuff. That's when Mike got sick, nobody knew it. Nobody knew it because Mike knew that this was part of life. Mike knew where he was going. He was fighting it tooth and nail, but it was part of life. No fear for him. And when Mike passed, something happened, and I made a dedication to myself that anytime that I would be afraid of something, I would think of Mike, and I'd go, stop being a pussy, dude, because there's a guy that you knew, and that for a long time you were very close to, and when you guys drifted apart for a while, for me personally, it was one of the most difficult times in my adult life. And I almost left comics because of it. That's something a lot of people don't know, but I'll always think of Mike and how he would have faced that issue, and considering the issues that he faced, and I'll go, you know what? You knew one man in your life that knew the rules. He knew why he was here. He knew why all of us were here. And that's to embrace every day, because it is a goddamn gift that we all have. And he never, all the way to the end, forgot that. So to Mike and to his family and Grace, thank you so much for sharing him with us. I will never forget him. None of us will ever forget him. His work will live on. It will inspire generations for years. And like Jeff said, everyone who knew him, the job now is to tell his story, because his art will tell everything else to everyone. So, Mike, love you, seriously.